This week we're going to talk a little bit with first-time homebuyer Courtney. Courtney recently purchased her first 2-bedroom condo in the Gold Coast neighborhood. Courtney, thanks for joining us today.
Thanks for having me.
What finally influenced your decision to buy?
As a renter, you are paying your landlord's mortgage. So financially, it just isn't the most savvy choice. Second being, interest rates are at an all-time low, so I was able to lock in a rate below 3%, which is amazing. And then the third reason is I was under the assumption that you had to put 20% down, and I then found out that you can actually get a conventional 30-year loan with as little as 5% down.
So after finally making the decision to purchase, what was the very first step for you?
First step was contacting a mortgage broker. I needed to make sure I knew what I could afford. I didn't want to waste a lot of time seeing properties that were outside my budget. After that, I needed to find a real estate agent. I needed someone who knew the market in Chicago, would take into consideration what I was looking for and kind of help me with setting up tours, with my online search, kind of the whole realm of the process.
So tell us a little bit about the process itself. Anything noteworthy during the actual transaction?
We ended up being in a multiple offer situation. So with the advice of my realtor, I needed to make my offer a little more enticing to the seller to kind of beat out the competition. So what I ended up doing is taking the home as is, and I waived the inspection contingency.
Wow, that seems pretty advanced. How did you feel about that?
At first it was a little nerve-wracking, but as we discussed the pros and cons of doing that, the home I purchased was a brand new gut renovation, and the renovator is really well known in my neighborhood. So I felt pretty comfortable with his work, and I wasn't nervous that a lot of things were going to be broken or costly at the end of the transaction, so I felt comfortable with it.
Do you feel like that's what finally put your offer over the top over the other competing offers?
Absolutely, because there was no chance the price was going to change from that point forward. So I wasn't going to be asking for repairs, for things to be replaced, for money to fix things that are broken. He knew that it was kind of set in stone at that point if he accepted my offer.
And how about any challenges during the transaction or the closing itself?
So during the closing, I ended up being 47 cents short, which was not ideal because I had to go get a cashier's check for 47 cents. So what ended up happening is we were a little bit off on the homeowners association prorations that get calculated at closing. I should have listened more intently to my realtor, who told me to bring extra money to closing, so that was definitely lesson learned. Bring a little bit extra so you don't have to go get a check for 47 cents.
Yeah, that was a little stressful.
Yeah, that was a little stressful.
How about the process overall? How would you describe your first purchase?
Overall, I think it went pretty smoothly. I mean, there's always going to be ups and downs, things you don't expect, especially when it's your first time purchase, because it's just all brand new to you. I had a really great team. I had a great realtor, I had a great attorney and mortgage broker, which just made the whole process really seamless.
Great. Thanks again for joining us today.
Thanks for having me.